Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the Let's Talk F1 YouTube channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day, afternoon, evening, good morning, whenever you're watching this. And I know it has been an absolute minute since I last uploaded. It's really shocking, to be honest. But we are finally back, and we are talking about Ferrari's absolutely shocking weekend at the Spanish Grand Prix. I picked up four main reasons on why their weekend was so bad. Well, 3 on track and 1 off track, pretty much. But yeah, let's waste no more time and get straight into it. Ferrari brought a massive upgrade package this weekend, brought a total of 7 upgrades to the Spanish Grand Prix, and ended up 4 tenths off pole in qualifying, 5th and 6th in quali, 4 tenths off Lando Norris, who was on pole, 4 tenths, which is quite a big margin compared to Imola, where they were 2 tenths off. And I think Imola and Spain are quite similar in terms of the track. I think in Imola there's high, medium and low speed corners. I think Spain is definitely the same. So having a 2/10 gap from Imola to Spain when you bring 7 upgrades for Spain, it is a little bit concerning in my opinion. And I think whether they haven't understood the upgrades properly, because they did rush this on for Spain. These upgrades were meant to come for Britain, but Ferrari ended up bringing them here to Spain because I think Mercedes brought an upgrade or 2 and Red Bull brought an upgrade, I think, if I saw that correctly. So yeah, Ferrari I think wanted to make sure that they were keeping up with Red Bull and Mercedes, but this might have kind of not contradicted, but hurt them for the future, because now there's probably going to be a gap where Ferrari aren't able to bring out upgrades because they were planning on bringing these in 2 weeks. There might be maybe 3 or 4 races where Ferrari don't bring upgrades, so it could be a little bit it could hamper them for the next few races. But yeah, Ferrari definitely had an absolute shocker of a weekend, because you can't be 4 tenths off pole when you bring 7 upgrades. So it's just not good enough in my opinion. And then second point for me is the drivers. I think the drivers are acting very immature at the minute. I think both of them, Carlos especially, but they're kind of like, they're being very, very unnecessary with each other. Like, there was a turning point in Spain, it was lap 3, where Carlos went round the outside of Leclerc. Bit of an audacious move against your teammate, but Carlos went around the outside, squeezed Leclerc into the apex, and pretty much had half a car on the apex, which is not what you want in turn 1. Not as much as Charles had anyway. And kind of squeezed him into the apex. And then that Leclerc ended up hitting something on the apex, which kind of like bounced him, I think. He kind of bounced into Sainz's rear right, because he was already ahead, technically. And they kind of banged wheels. Sainz then went off track and used the runoff and kind of gained like half a second. So how the FIA made the decision that overtake was legal, I won't know, but it wasn't great for me. I think Sainz definitely left the track and gained the advantage, but the FIA somehow said he didn't. So hey, that's not up to me. Sainz did have to let Leclerc go. Let him go ahead of him towards the back end of the race, which he did say in an interview after. So yeah, Ferrari are a bit of a mess at the minute. Definitely a weekend to forget. And one more point on the drivers. I think because Sainz is leaving and his future hasn't been confirmed, he's kind of driving a little erratic and trying to prove himself, which is bit unnecessary, because the guy stood on podiums, he's won races, and he's got poles. Like, what is more to prove? He's done everything an F1 driver could do apart from win a championship, and not many people have done that. So Carlos Sainz has been a bit weird at the minute for me. I think he needs to pull back on the old ego and needs to just focus on each weekend as it comes, and not the need to prove himself. And obviously, because it was his home race, he wants to do well, but you don't get more points for being at home, you know what I mean? So I think Carlos definitely needs to change his attitude for the rest of the season, because he's the best driver in the driver market this season. Wherever he goes, the team will sign him. Williams, Haas, Sauber, who else? Alpine is not he probably won't go to Alpine because Alpine's a fucking mess as well. But wherever Sainz goes, the team will snap him up. And all the other drivers are waiting for Sainz to make his decision, because then that then lets them know where to look. I saw there was a Bottas interview. He pretty much said, we're waiting for Carlos to make his decision so I can move elsewhere. That's pretty much what he said. So Carlos definitely needs to find his next seat, get that done as soon as possible, because it is affecting him. He is being more erratic. He's being more aggressive. He's being unnecessary. And he definitely needs to sort that out for the remainder of the season, because it's going to cost Ferrari in the constructors. Fred's not going to want them jostling for position and costing each other time like we saw in Barcelona. He's not going to want to see that, and he won't, because he loves Charles Leclerc. He worked with him at Sauber. He's working with him now, and he's going to prefer Charles Leclerc for the rest of the season if Sainz doesn't pull his act together and put the team first, because obviously he's going. But just be how you were last season, Carlos. You're an incredibly great driver. You've been so close to Leclerc, or you've been close to Leclerc the seasons you've been with him. Just go back to last year, Carlos, all right? You need to just chill out, put the ego behind you, and just drive normally. Not drive like you're Zhou Guan Yu in a Sauber, and oh my God, I need to get results to get my drive for next season. No, you are guaranteed a seat next season, Carlos Sainz. Relax. Okay, we kind of waffled a bit on there, but let's go to the last point where the news broke earlier, I think around 3 hours ago. Enrico Cardile is leaving Ferrari at the end of the season. I think it's at the end of the season. It might be immediately. I actually didn't check that, so that's bad from me. But yeah, Enrico Cardile leaving Ferrari to Aston Martin. Now, in my opinion, there's two ways to look at this. I think the first way is Ferrari are losing their touch a little bit, and Aston Martin are either throwing massive money at these staff members, or Ferrari aren't the pull as they used to be. And Aston Martin, the project of Aston Martin is a bit more well looked at compared to Ferrari at the minute. And then the second point, which I think is most likely, is this opens up the space for Adrian Newey to join Ferrari next season. I think it is written in the stars that next season we're going to have a trio at Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc and Adrian Newey in one team, and they're going to win every fucking race next season. Because if that happens, that is probably the best trio in Formula 1 history, to be honest. You've got a 7-time world champion, you've got Charles Leclerc, who's one of the best Formula 1 drivers we've seen in a long while come into Formula 1, and Adrian Newey, the best designer Formula 1 has ever seen. That as a trio is very, very exciting for me, and if Ferrari can manage to pull that off, that will be absolute scenes, and they are definitely going in as my favourites for next season. But we ended on a bit of a happy note for Ferrari, because they needed it, because that weekend was absolutely shocking from them. But that is my 4 reasons on why Ferrari's Spanish Grand Prix was absolutely shocking, and they need to go into Austria, put the last 2 weeks behind them, because Austria will be a track that suits their car better. They're better in the high speed and medium speed. There's literally about 4 corners at Austria, so yeah, they should have a good weekend. I think they'll probably be the 3rd fastest car going into Austria. They'll probably be quicker than Mercedes, but I think McLaren and Ferrari are still a little bit ahead of them. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, like and subscribe. Obviously you don't have to, but it'll be very, very much appreciated. And I'm finally back, and hopefully more consistent content will be coming out soon. But yeah, cheers for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. Peace.